fucking real. Fucking real. Here we go. We're back.
Let's go.
Lukey, Eds, Cullam.
Yes.
Welcome, boys. Welcome to fucking real.
Good to be back.
It is. It's been a while.
What have you guys been up to? Who's going to start? Lukey, what are you doing here, mate?
I have no idea why I'm here. I just saw the door was open. I thought I'd come in for a chat.
Yeah. Stop in.
Yeah. Keeping well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going through it,
Yeah.
riding the waves.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Had any dumps? Wave dumps?
Yeah, lots of dumps.
How big's the waves you're surfing at the moment, man?
I'm getting pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big waves surfing.
Big waves. I'm going for bigger ones as well.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. How's your waves going? Are you catching waves, or are you still just on the on the rollerblades?
Mate, I'm still paddling out. No, it's a good metaphor, isn't it? And sometimes we get thrown over the falls, sometimes there's big waves, sometimes there's little ripples, but they'll all affect us, won't they?
Yeah, well, sets of waves only come in sets of 3 or 4. So if you're getting pummeled, you sometimes do. There's always knowing that there's going to be a bit of breath on the other side, man.
And you strangely like it.
Yeah.
Like you get dumped, you're like, oh,
It's exciting.
feeling alive.
Yeah, I survived.
Yeah.
I wonder how big that next wave I can do. Yeah.
Well, it's coming regardless, isn't it? Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah.
Just gotta get your surfboard and
Yeah.
It's about how you ride it, resilience.
Yeah.
Are you riding waves, or are you sunbathing on the beach at the moment?
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah.
Dribs and drabs. Just,
Nice. Yeah.
Some bigger than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you boys, look, this has come about. I'm going to start with HBF Fun Run. The Budgy Smugglers. How'd that go? Did you like my social comment of like fucking something like it's not the only thing shriveled up or something like that?
I didn't see that. Did you?
It was like because it looked cold, man.
It was.
When you saw
Yeah, it was freezing. Yeah.
And then there's photos of you boys, in your Budgy Smugglers at whatever time, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Not that early, but it was dark. It was cold. It was wet. 6:30 in the morning. It's pissing down with rain. But
Sounds
it
fun.
was so much fun. Yeah. And Josh, one of the guys in the group, he shared with us because there was a moment in the morning where we just had our little team meeting, and then the heavens just opened and it was just coming down, and we just got a light jog on to the start line, and everyone was trying to take shelter, like under shelter at the sides, and we were just going straight through in our budgies, no care in the world. Fuck, it's raining, so what? And it's like everyone just opened up and let us through, and they were like, "Hey!" And Josh shared in the group. It was like, it felt like a footy player coming out the tunnel. But you said something great as well about the sort of energy and atmosphere. It's like everyone knew the mission.
Yeah, it was like everyone understood the assignment, and because people could have easily been like, oh, look at these guys, like in the budgies. But there was none of that. It was like everyone knew that we were there for a greater purpose. And
What was that greater purpose?
It was funny you say, Cal, we're on our way to the starting line, pun intended. And that was like our whole thing was running for those that can't, mentally, physically, and to be able to not make a scene, but attract a little bit of attention with the budgies to champion that, I think was something pretty special and really powerful, because a lot of people are coming up and like, what are you running for? And it was a conversation starter because we're there in bloody 4 degrees in our budgies. It was cool.
Yeah. When I picked up my bib from in Perth, or the exhibition centre, great atmosphere, great energy. Picked up my bib and my shirt, walked around, and they had this board, which was everyone write your reason as to why you're running. They had marker pens and everyone's writing on. Just going similar wall to this actually. But it was just full. Everyone, it's running for my mum who had Alzheimer's, cancer, running for self-love, running for peace on earth. And it was just like all these reasons. And I just like had a moment. I just welled up. Fuck. It was just like gratitude. A little bit of sadness came over me as well for like all these people that, well, our mortality is inevitable, isn't it? like we're all going to die eventually. And some of us, we don't know when that day is. But when someone close to us, it happens, when it happens, and it's like, fuck, you know, just feeling that grief. So if you can do something like running in Budgy Smugglers, doing a half marathon, or whatever it is, doing a podcast, just, it has a strong meaning behind it, strong purpose. So I just really felt that on that day.
For me, it was an honour that you guys have gone, you know what, Dave, we're going to run in Budgy Smugglers for this HBF fun run. You know, we want to raise some money for the starting line, you know, and the starting line's relatively new, as we all know. And to have, I mean, you guys were the first people that actually said, we want to do something to raise money, that really took no real energy of mine at all, you know, and it was, and then not really thinking too much about it, and then just seeing the impact that you guys had was just like, fuck, man, that's wicked. And to know you're going to do it every single year.
Going bigger and better next year.
Yeah?
Well, Budgy Smuggler himself got on board.
Yeah.
They're sharing the posts, and, you know, I'll hand over to Cal because he had an amazing idea that we're doing.
Yep.
And you guys can jump on board as well next year.
Yeah, Luke said he'd love to get on it.
There you go, 2 recruits. Cal?
I was running, actually, the other week. And when I'm running, it's just a moment for me to just get out of my head into my body. I get clarity on things, ideas. And it just washed over me because I was still running on the high of the Budgy run. And it just hit me. It's like, right, fuck it. 100 men. That's times 10. There's 10, because there was 10 of us that did it. All that takes is 10 of us, each of us, to get 10 men. 100 blocks running through Perth City, 100 reasons.
Budgy Smugglers.
Budgy Smugglers.
Yeah. I thought you had more than that. Was that just the... we've got to give a shout out to the other boys that were getting on board
exactly, man. So in the training leading up to it, we had a lot of people jumping on board with Coops because he does a lot of his runs as well.
Yeah.
And we did have more, but a few people dropped out. But to get 10
who
committed.
are those names? Like those running, were they running clubs or the men's clubs? One of them was an MC, like they were called something MC.
Yeah, so that's Coops's personal brand that he has. And then the 440 Cottesloe is the running club he's a part of. So he just spread the word to all of them.
Yeah.
In support of Human Allegiance and Starting Line, man. So that was that's amazing to see so many people jump on with the training too.
Yeah, wicked, man.
He's actually the one that sort of he didn't give me the idea, but the idea came from me, but he sparked it within me because of what he's doing. Yeah. He did a Budgy run, I think, for Movember or something. He did a charity run in Budgies. And I knew that the HBF Run for a Reason was coming up. And Coops has been to a few Ignite sessions and he's given some really good feedback on what we're doing. And great guy, great energy, Englishman as well. And I was just like, let's collaborate.
Yep.
Let's use your knowledge and your energy and what you want to bring it together. And
sweet.
You got on board with it.
Cool.
So shout out to Coops.
Yeah. And outside of, like, I know Cal will agree, outside of running for others, just the internal camaraderie, connection and brotherhood and accountability for us. Because Cal and I were really clear. It's like, yes, we're doing it for the fun of it, but it's not just we're doing it to participate. Let's try and do it in a set time. So we had a training program and accountability to be able to check in with our times. And so it was a huge amount of challenge in that as well. And then the action in the chat group, wasn't it awesome, Cullam? Just seeing it brought us all so close together.
Yeah.
So I think
it's beneficial for us.
Yeah, when men have a common goal, common purpose, something that they're progressively working towards together and holding each other accountable as well. Like, accountability is such a big piece because I can tell myself I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and go for a run. 5 a.m. comes, just sleep in a bit longer, you know, it's nice and warm in bed. There's no one holding me accountable. But when we've got other men around us,
for sure,
you know,
it
makes a difference.
I mean, I've been feeling a lot lately of like that we need to be connecting more as men.
Yeah.
And everyone I'm speaking to is sort of feeling the same thing. And, you know, I want to really have that discussion. I know we were talking about it earlier before. That's why I'm just dropping it here on you boys. Hey,
good segue.
Yeah. Because this is the honest. I feel like this is what's happening now with us boys. Like we've either got this wellness. What's the word? Wellness warrior thing happening where we're diving in and all that, and we're sort of. I sometimes feel like that we're sort of missing out a little bit on a bit of the fun.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
I think we're technologically more connected than we've ever been, and emotionally and intimately disconnected from each other. And we get this pseudo intimacy or pseudo connection through just fucking doom scrolling for 2 hours every night.
Yeah.
But sitting here with you boys, I would do this over that fucking every night.
Yeah.
Just to sit and listen and just to be present and be in a room full of legends.
Yeah.
You just don't get that. And people are too busy, or there isn't the platform for it. There isn't there isn't yet.
Nah.
But we were saying earlier, there seems to be this divide in men or in society in general. And you're either on a spiritual path or a healing path, and you're just focused on shadow work all the fucking time, and who wants that?
Yeah.
And where's the fun in it?
Yeah.
I think the spirituality side of things has gotten very serious. Guilty of it myself. And now I just want fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here we go, bro. This is it getting fucking real. So we were talking before.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, I opened up to you about what I'm going through at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not really sort of say it just now, but like, it's pretty heavy, man. I'm riding some big waves. Well, I feel like I'm riding a few big waves at the moment. And I asked you, bro, I was like, opened up to you, and I was like, well, like, what is it, Luke? What do you reckon, man? There's all this and that, and, I should be doing that. And it's like, just fucking stop, bro, and start appreciating you.
Yeah.
And loving life and loving yourself, rather than sort of always, because I sometimes feel like as males, man, but, always trying to push the next level, man.
Well, and everybody's trying to get you to sign up to their retreat, to their ceremony. Look, I do that for a living.
Yeah.
But it also, the counter to that is that people are constantly seeking for something outside of themselves to fix themselves. And what is needed more is to just stop all of that shit, because you won't find it externally. It's turning towards yourself, getting in contact with that little boy or that little girl and giving it the love that it has been needing its entire life, that it didn't get when it was growing up.
Yeah.
That is the route to peace and freedom in my book.
And what's helped me, like in the last few days in particular, is reaching out to those boys, your brothers, and opening up to them and hearing what they've got to say back, because they love you. If they don't give a fuck if you want to hear it or not, they're going to tell you how it is.
Yeah.
Or lead you in the right direction, or say, or you are in the right direction. And that's that intimacy, or that connection of actually catching up, rather than technology sort of catching up, or at these events catching up, and actually catching up one-on-one and having some pizza, or, watching the footy together, or, and like what we say, if a beer's your thing, having a couple of beers,
For sure. No, you can't do that.
I was saying to Luke at the boxing gym last week, shout out Good Vibes Boxing.
Yeah, Coach Keem.
Yeah. And I was saying, isn't it funny, right? Like you look at nature and we're like, connect back
Are you
with
going
nature.
there too?
I only started last week, bro. I'm back in tomorrow. Yeah.
It's a cult going on.
It's a good one, though.
I was like, all this talk about being human, right? It's funny because you look at a tree and a tree doesn't think I need to be more like a tree. The tree just is the tree. Yet we try and be more and more human. We spend so much time trying to be human and on that hamster wheel of I'm broken or something's wrong, that we're not stopping to actually smell the roses because we're too busy psychoanalyzing everything.
Yeah.
And then I know nuance is so important. And sometimes in the spiritual community, now that we're getting fucking real, I'll call a spade a spade. Yeah. Sometimes we speak in absolutes, yeah? So it's like this bad, this good. Well, no, not necessarily. For a lot of things that have been demonized is exactly what we need. Catching up with the lads, watching the footy, watching the UFC, whatever it is. And sometimes it's like these labels that exist trap us into this paradigm. And sometimes it's like, nah, I just want to be able to kick back.
Yeah.
And that's the healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Well, you started this topic with a paraphrase, but one word really struck me. It said, I've been feeling like we need to be more connected as men. And you said psychoanalyzing. And I think that I can speak for myself, spend a lot of time stuck in here,
Yeah.
not feeling.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we just got to stop, feel.
Well, we'll just leave it there and go to the Vic Park then, eh? To be continued.
You can feel with a beer in your hand.
We'll be back. Yeah.
5 pints later.
But yeah, that'll be a whole new podcast. Like, but, you know, I mean, and what we did talk about before as well, though, is that balance, you know, and
because then you've got to be aware as when are the choices that you're making becoming a scapegoat to avoid feeling what it is that you need to feel. Again, alcohol, there's no good or bad. It just is. It's how you choose to use it. If you're using it to escape your own feelings, it's probably not going to serve you in the long run. If you're using it to connect, have a good time, and there's no escapism involved in it, regardless of how it affects your physical body, it's neither good or bad.
yeah, because there is a big difference with alcohol. I've noticed. I'm pretty seasoned when it comes to drinking, but you know there is a difference between having a few drinks and having a drink to solve a feeling or an emotion, you know, a suppressed thing. And I think you know it's like one of my Jen, who comes on here a fair bit. You know, she's known me for 8 years and been a bit of a coach for me and guiding through my journeys in life. And she always said to me, like, if you're sitting at the bar or at home and you're having a drink going, this is good, you know, and enjoying a bit of conversation and you're catching up with a mate and you've got a smile on your face, that's a good time to have a drink. But the bad time's having a drink going, I need this. You know, I'm going through shit in the moment while I've had a hard day and I need this to solve you know, whatever's going on. And yeah.
Anything you need, you're gonna make that your God, aren't you? It's like people you said before about on the healing path and this trying to fix myself, looking outside of oneself, you know. And for as long as my eyes are out there, they're not on myself, you know. And if I'm in this perpetual loop of of healing, growth, I've got to do the next fucking workshop or the next retreat and the next ceremony. It's like, it's not a problem, but if you're constantly doing that, it's like, well, when are you integrating it? When are you actually having fun?
Yeah, you're right, Cal, because paradoxically, same with, as you were saying with alcohol, the healing can be the escapism
100%.
too. Oh, do another breath work or do another that. And you get in that trauma bond and it's safe, it's comfortable. You need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it takes courage to sit in ceremony and drink a cup of ayahuasca. But it takes hard work to integrate the truth that is revealed to you.
That's true, man.
And people are going back and sitting with courage over and over and over, but they're missing the hard work that it takes. If you drink 1 cup of ayahuasca in a intentional way, that thing could take you an entire lifetime to integrate, and so it fucking should.
Yeah.
And if you're going back, you're just going back to sit with courage, not because you're willing to do the work.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it just reveals what's already inside of you. But then if you go back, it's just revealing the same shit that you need to work on this, you need to work on this. We know what we need to do. We just need to turn in and just be connected to ourselves.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a tool. It's a finger pointing to the moon. But at the end of the day, there's no savior. There's no external idol that's going to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And bringing that back to the connection we were talking about, in fact, we were talking about it at the gym. For some of us, I know myself included, I put my hand up, we can get somewhat addicted to the psychology and philosophy of life, plant medicine, and we spend a lot of time floating around outside of our body. Cullam talked about the feeling in the heart, but we're so out of ourselves. And for the better part of 2 years now, I've made an intentional decision in my life to ground myself outside of any form of substance or spiritual modality. Running, swinging steel maces, getting connected to my body, and now boxing. And as Luke will know, I was shitting myself. There's magic and trance-like energies that are accessed within these states. And even just getting around four blokes like we're doing now can be as healing, if not more healing, than sitting a 16-hour.
This has been my biggest therapy, man, this podcast. Yeah, the connection. But boxing, man, is huge. And I promote it heavily, you know, having that mind-body connection, challenging yourself. And then there's the community part of it, particularly with Good Vibes Boxing, man. Like, amazing community, the things they're doing.
And that's, I guess, a segue into Ignite. That's exactly the reason Cal and I run Ignite. Yes, we've got the physical component. Yes, we've got the ice baths. Yes, we've got the sharing circle. But some of the best moments are just the hour and a half after when we're trying to kick people out because they're just connecting. They crave it, don't they? Cal?
Feel bad for kicking people out. It's like, 'cause they've just made you new mates. They're connecting to someone they've never met before, and they've formed a deeper connection with that blog than they have with the mate they went to school with that they've known for like 15 years. He's only met this guy 15 minutes, and it's because we're taking off the armor. We're dropping our shields, and we're seeing each other for what we really are.
I've been to Ignite 2 or 3 times, and every time left feeling, and I've done like a lot of different events and things, and that is definitely one event that you leave feeling connected and alive. Like the energy you take home with you is crazy, man. So when is the next one?
What is it actually? Because I haven't been. What is Ignite?
Next week.
Yeah.
So you come in?
Next
week. Tell me, what is it?
You start, Cal. We'll hand it over to each other. Because your story is great about your group fitness journey. And
why don't you talk about what Ignite is on the day, what you do, so people that listen to this and want to know what it is, and then you tell me why you were doing it.
Done.
Do it the other way around then. You say what it is, and I'll say where it came from.
Someone just tell me what the fuck it's about, bro. I want to know what I'm getting into.
So look, Luke, as we've discussed in the past, me feeling quite uncomfortable.
You got to come in your budgie.
I mean, look,
I'm that.
Cullam PT, you know, working with elite athletes. Me, it's the exact opposite of that. So as I started on this journey of like starting to feel more into my body, Cal and I, you know, Cal entered my life, and we thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we could build something? And Cal will talk a little bit about how that evolved, and what it's now come to is, I mean, mind, body, heart are the pillars. Pretty simple. Think well, mind, body, move well, heart, feel well.
Yeah.
How can we integrate that into a session? So we start with some fitness, but real functional movements that we should be doing each and every day. So swinging around steel maces, Bulgarian sandbags. We're not just lifting arm curls.
Yeah, awesome.
And it's pretty hectic, the workout. Then there's a team competition. Then we sit in some ice baths, and then we connect as men and just have a bit of a real and raw conversation. And Cullam and I deliberately and strategically keep the event simple so we can attract someone that's done all of the spiritual modalities, or they've just stepped off a plane of a FIFO mine site, and they haven't even stepped into the spiritual world at all. It's for everyone.
Yeah. Cool.
And but I would say that get prepared to sweat.
Awesome.
You won't
move
like
your
it.
body.
You'll like it, but you don't like it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I like it 5 minutes after it's finished.
Yeah. It's like, that was fucking good. I'll go.
Yeah, for sure.
We've tried to appeal to the everyday man as well. Like some of our marketing, we can't help who turns up, but some guys turn up and they're jacked and they're ripped and might have tattoos, and you know, so we strategically with our marketing.
You just described me, bro.
We want to capture everyone, right? We want to make it clear that this is open to all fitness levels. It doesn't matter if you've been to a gym or not, or you've never ran or not. It doesn't really matter. The idea is that you can come here and you lift and move to your capacities and your capabilities while still challenging yourself. You're guaranteed to learn something new and still get great benefit from it. And the other side to that is if you are an athlete or you've we've had bodybuilders come that have struggled with it as well because it's pretty unconventional movement. Javier as well. Javier, who's a weapon.
He's a weapon.
He
His
comes.
bodywork is like supreme.
I think regardless of who you are, you're going to go in and struggle. And if you're not struggling, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. But the thing I love most about it, man, is the share circles at the end of it.
Yeah.
Funny you say that, Dave. We have a lot of men that do come and they're, like I'm not really comfortable sharing because they're very new to this. You can hear sharing circle. It's quite vulnerable, a lot of courage, bravery and strength. And, Cal and I will say, look, there's absolutely no commitment, pressure or expectation that you share. And quite often the environment, and I think, I'm not saying just having sharing circles don't work, but I think there's something very special, powerful and potent about smashing yourself physically for 2 hours before and sitting in an ice bath, then connecting and sharing. Yeah. And every time those individuals that say they don't want to share the most because they realize that there's something they're going through. They're not in isolation and there's 10 other men that are feeling the same way.
Yeah.
It's a good de-armoring process.
Absolutely, yeah. So by the time we've got to the sharing circle, they've already done an ice bath. Yeah, you missed the team element, the camaraderie, the team competition. So we split them up into groups and we have a bit of team fun and challenge competition. And then we have the fitness circuit. We have a bit of Adam's expertise with philosophy and mindset, motivation, and so by the time we get to the sharing circle, like you said, de-armoring, it's like the stripped. Yeah, just got budgies on,
Ignite with budgies. I like it.
The first one I went to as well, I had Jamison, my boy, with me as well, man. And it's good seeing, their dads bring their sons along too, man. Yeah. And they see them, even my boy, he jumped in the ice bath as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Just quickly and also showing them and leading the way of like, this is what normal should be. Yep. You know what I mean? Or one of the tools you should be taking into your adulthood, man, and building community and challenging yourself. And it's so beautiful, man, seeing these dads and their sons, Yeah. I mean, I think partially because I'm a father too, so you go, fuck, that's pretty cool, when you see it with the other fathers. And
When is it?
Yeah, what date is it?
22nd of June next week.
22nd of June,
Sunday the 22nd.
Yeah,
I'm free.
At 10 o'clock, is it?
I'm free.
11.
Starts at 11.
11 till 2. Yeah,
11 till 2. And how do people get involved with this, man? What do they jump on? What you say, man?
Yeah, you can follow us. The Human Allegiance. We're due to update our website, but you can follow us on Instagram at the Human Allegiance.
I'll put the link in the YouTube.
Awesome, yeah. Just through Insta, really, or send myself or Adam a message. We've got a link in our bio and the typical link in bio.
Eventbrite is the link, so once they're on the profile, I'll see it on the link tree
on Facebook as well.
So you're gonna go, Luke?
I'll go. Yeah, you gonna go?
Yeah, I'll go, man. If you go,
let's go, bro.
Hey. Hopefully, we're in different teams too.
Yeah, 100%. My budgie smugglers are better than yours, man.
I don't wear any, man.
Well, then we're not friends. Yeah. Wear something.
You go faster if you don't wear anything.
Yeah.
Now the budgies is separate to Ignite, but if you want to come in your budgies league, you can.
I don't own any yet.
I was hoping no one was going to tell her that.
Well, you can bring them for the ice bath, no problem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nah, sick, man.
I'll just quickly touch on where it was birthed from then, and then so I've been a fitness trainer for the best part of 15 years, and then when COVID happened, couldn't go to the gym, so I decided to buy my own equipment, got some kettlebells, started getting into like more functional stuff with the steel maces and Bulgarian bags, and just like created my own at home setup. And Adam sort of encouraged me, I believe, from memory. It's going back 3 years now. Mm-hmm. But I resisted doing an outside fitness group. It was uncomfortable, right? Obviously, it's new, it's unfamiliar, putting myself out there. Better not do that. Mm-hmm. But I leaned into it with some guidance and support from Adam. And essentially, it started from me, 4 mates, down at Scarborough Beach, having a bit of fitness session, and it's just evolved from there. Mm. Yeah, literally just expanded and evolved from there. Something so simple, so genuine.
Yeah, I've been spreading the word on this one. There's a few boys coming down. So yeah, I mean, fuck, I could put my hand up on how fucking good it is. And I reckon the team part of it, without saying too much, is the hardest, but the most, I guess, the best part of it.
Is it hard because, in your opinion, is it hard because you've already done the fitness circuit, so now you've got to do more?
You think you're done?
Well, it's hard because
Because he wants to win.
Haven't lost one yet. No, but the hardest part of it, mate, is pushing that. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but the hardest part of it is that because you want to be a team and you do want to win. And I don't think there's one male that's on there that doesn't fucking go a little bit harder in that.
Yeah,
and that
You can definitely see it. Yeah, they're
do you
charged
have
up.
buckets? Because I will throw up.
Yeah, people do. We get about 3-4 every
Yeah,
session.
awesome.
Yeah.
Standard.
Because you just go that little bit more, man, and
100%.
and that's that's a beautiful thing in itself. Like you're sort of stepping up for the boys as well, and the encouragement comes if you're on the roll, it's like, come on, Luke, man, you got 100 more meters left. Start spewing, do more rowing.
Right, teamwork, bro.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, I love it. That sounds amazing.
Nah, it's cool, man, and so that's how it, and the idea of it is to obviously get people out of the comfort zones.
Yeah.
Push together,
Yeah.
Building a community.
Outside of your comfort zone, lean into that, and build confidence in yourself. Meet new people. There's so many messages.
Yeah.
So many, I guess, reasons and such a big purpose behind it. It can, well, our pillars, mind, body, heart, and we could have each pillar has its own purpose behind it. You know, it's I reckon the all-encompassing theme, the general consensus would be connection.
Yeah.
You said community and connection, Dave, which is probably a good segue to the men's camp out that we just did up in the Stirling Ranges.
Fuck, you're plugging everything on here, eh?
Do you think this is free marketing, bro?
No, they paid us.
But even that aside, like Cullam talked about simplicity, right? And like how easy is it just to get a group of guys and sit around a campfire and climb a couple of mountains? Like it's not rocket science. It's not hard.
Yep.
Neither is Ignite. And I just wanted to loop that back as like, that's what we're craving. There's so many things are complex at the moment, right? Our jobs are complex. Our relationships are complex. And sometimes we just want to be able to take a step back and do something, Cullam hears me on overdrive saying, simplicity is the greatest form of sophistication. Like it's just step the fuck back.
Yeah.
I think one thing I want to say though is women don't need a reason to connect and get together, right? But men, I find there needs to be some sort of common purpose for us to get together and connect. It's like, hey, Dave, do you fancy coming round and just telling us how you feel, bro? It's not going to happen.
No.
You fucking for real?
You know,
Is there pizza involved?
Are we watching the game?
I've noticed, like on Instagram or somewhere like that, I've noticed there is a bit of a thing going on where bros are calling up their bros and saying, "Hey, bro, I just want to say good night and I love
I've
you."
seen that go around, yeah.
And the reaction that they're getting on, because they're obviously getting their missus to record it, try not to laugh. It's like, "Hey, Lukey, just want to let you know good night and I love you." And the reaction is
Jack
like,
Ginnivan called his coach.
"Are you fucking for real?"
From Hawthorn.
What's wrong with you, bro? What's wrong? You all right?
Delete my number.
You're not wrong though, Cal. It's harder for us as men, so we create reasons for it. Yeah.
So how was that camp night? Like the other question I've got with this, like, what is it about nature, man? Like that we're craving that at the moment too. I am anyway. Like I've just been getting down the river and going for a walk among the trees. But what is it? I actually, like, I've noticed that's what I'm doing more. It's what I'm craving. It helps. It brings clarity. But can anyone answer? What's going on there, man? I know.
How deep do you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, go deep, man. I don't know. Like, what is it? Like,
Let's go,
there's
Cullam.
an attraction to it. You know what I mean?
Could it be because you're a part of it?
Yeah.
And I think that we've become so disconnected from nature. I mean, look at what happened during COVID, the pandemic. All of a sudden, social distancing, which is an oxymoron. How can we be social and distant at the same time? We're inside, wearing masks, locked down. Fuck, you know, it's completely. It couldn't be the opposite to what we're actually supposed to be doing. I feel, and I believe that we're a part of a nature. Nature is a part of us, and David Attenborough said it best on his documentary a few years ago. Fuck, I'm gonna butcher it now.
Do it.
We can always AI overdub it.
Yeah.
In David Attenborough's voice.
Cullam's rendition.
Yeah. I'm gonna paraphrase, but it was something along the lines of, we're not apart from nature. We are a part of nature.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're not separate to it. So maybe that's it. You're coming home. You know what I mean? You're getting out.
Yeah.
There's something very nurturing about nature. Nature is chaos in its own beautiful form. Everything just works. It just is a system that feeds itself, that just is pure creation. I think if we're stuck in our linear mind and thinking, going into nature is the representation of us embodying that part of ourselves that we forget to do sometimes, that nurturing part of ourselves that we either crave in nature, in a woman, in somebody else even. And so it's about drawing those aspects of self back together again. Nature is a mirror for where we are needing to offer that to ourselves. And we can get it in nature, which is beautiful, and nature inspires us. It's a part of it's artistic, it's creation itself, you know.
And that's what it does for me, man. Like I notice it reminds me, it grounds me and brings me back to, like, you're okay. You're a part of this. It's that you're not okay when you're subtracting yourself from this, you know, or not being grounded. And, you know, even with the trees that run along the river, and there's this particular place I go every morning, man, when I'm feeling like this. And, you know, and it's crazy how I just keep going back there, man. And but what it reminds me, particularly like the trees that run along the river, and, you know, if it's been flooded by the river, if it's been dried out, these trees are there day in, day out, and all the trees are there by themselves, and they're not complaining, man. They just weather the storm. They're rooted. They watch their neighbors grow strong as well, and they're just being, you know, they're just there. And I just get this strong reminder. This sounds pretty trippy, but I almost like they talk to me, like, you know, this is what you need to do, man. Is just be grounded, solid. You don't have to be anything. Sort of like don't loop right back to the start of, like, getting within and not really doing anything. Just be grounded and where you're meant to be.
Are you one of those weirdos that go and
talk to trees,
ground and hug trees and talk to trees?
I do actually, man. Yeah. I was at the cafe the other day, and I was with I was with a good friend, and I just stopped, man, and I had to touch the tree, man. It was just like I felt it, and and like even though I feel weird still doing it, but it just felt right. Yeah. And this is what I mean, like this connection to nature. That's why I asked the question, you know, like.
I think we unconsciously know that nature's got our back. Like Luke said, it's a symbiotic system. Like if you zoom out and out and out, like the seasons, the earth's breathing, everything's a structure and a system, and it needs no help. And then we try and replicate that, as humans. Like we'll manufacturally put grass in and we need sprinklers to water it. But in nature, there's no sprinklers needed. You've got rain, you know.
Perfect.
There's no, it is.
It is.
And we are that, like you said,
it's
Cal.
dying. It's not. It's
part
dying.
of it.
It's dying. Yeah.
It's who we are without the narrative. And Mother Earth has this nurturing energy about her. It's a living, breathing organism that our body is literally made of. And without our own narrative, when we pass, we go back to the earth. We're supposed to be having our feet touching the earth and all of those neural pathways that go between our earth and our body. The fungi system of the earth is like neurology.
The mycelium network.
Yeah. And we are a part of that. And just like the metaphor of when we are actually physically born through our mother and we're separated from our mother and we spend the rest of our lives trying to find that sense of safety again. We as human beings are doing that with Earth because we've forgotten that the Earth is our mother and bore our physical body. And so when we connect back to that as this is where we came from, and that the spirit came from the heavens or wherever, whatever, the cosmos, we are able to marry those two, and we have that physical earth energy of the mother and the father sky that come together at the heart place, the bridge between the worlds.
And so is it the same concept in a way with sound? Like in the way of like how, like moving that energy through your body. So was that a different topic in itself?
I mean, sound with that is another topic, but everything is sound. Yeah. So everything is light. Everything is sound and frequency and vibration. Earth, like physical matter, physical reality is light vibrating at a certain frequency. And depending on where we're moving through the scale of existence, that's going to look either more physical or less physical. But essentially, it's all just sound and octaves of sound.
So when it comes to sound healing, is that the vibrations that are moving energy, unwanted energy, or through the body?
It can do. I mean, frequency can do a lot to the physical aspect of the body. It can do a lot to the emotional and spiritual aspect. If you think of sound, it moves through all of the realms. So it moves through the physical, it's present here in the physical realm and in the spiritual realm. Sound and frequency is the bridge that bridges the two together. So if you're playing a specific frequency, that frequency exists here and there, and it acts as a bridge between the two, so that if anything needs to move through and work, that uses the sound to do that.
Famous philosopher once said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of vibration and frequency, right?
Nikola Tesla.
369.
Yeah.
I think beautifully put, Luke, with the nature and that word nurturing. I'm thinking like my partner and I recently just wanted to disconnect from the busyness of life and the stresses of life, and borrowed a rooftop tent off one of our friends, and we just took off the dwelling up and spent the night in the trees in dwelling up, and we had every intention to spend more than one night there, but the next day we just, you ready to go home, babe? Yeah, let's go home. So we just went for one night, got everything that we needed, felt held by the earth, felt nurtured. Yeah. And that's all that we needed. And was really happy and satisfied with that.
Yeah.
And it's not absolute as well. Like, we got to remember, I've been saying this a lot, we're all of it. We're the pleasure, we're the pain. We're angry, we're happy. And whilst the earth and Mother Nature can be really calm and nurturing and beautiful, it can be angry as fuck too.
Destructive.
Like, doesn't give a fuck that when you're out there and there's 20-foot waves crashing on boats or mountains crumbling. And even in the very cycle of the seasons, right, there's death and rebirth there.
Yeah.
All the plants die. Then comes spring, they're back. Yeah. So funnily enough, full circle what we're all talking about, it's the same as us as humans. It's not all love and light.
Yeah.
There's pain and anger and mess and dirt and grit. And we're talking about all of us being in it. And that's part of it. And on the other side of that is happiness, fun, joy, pleasure.
And the freedom and the acceptance is in the not having a narrative over whether that's good or bad. That is the reason Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, because they partook of the fruit from the tree of good and evil. And as soon as they did, they realized, they started judging things. And it's the judgment itself that gets you kicked out of the state of heaven, the state of consciousness. Yeah. And to come back to that is to realize that we are all of it. And when we stop judging what's good and bad and just see that it's all a part of source of creation, we go back into that state of the heavenly realm.
And I guess that also goes back to what we were talking before about just going within and loving yourself, and because I do feel like the whole loop that we've just done then, so what is that good practice of accepting, because let's face it, we have these rocky days and the big waves crashing. You know, I mean, I sort of feel like I know the answer in this, but I'd like to hear your guys. Like, and even with what I'm going through now, I sort of like look at it as if it's an ayahuasca ceremony that I'm going into. You know, it's sort of like these nerves are happening. It feels like, you know, things are crazy and you don't know what's on the other side, and you know, like your head could be spinning out. But it's like the sooner you surrender and just accept what is happening now is the answer, more or less. So would you be sort of thinking?
I think it is finding union within.
Yeah.
And that means, so you think of surrender, acceptance, this kind of letting go.
Yeah.
Or you can go out and seek for the answer. It's very mind and heart. It's marrying the both of them within.
Yeah.
And we've lived in a world that has been so focused on polarity, and men need to hold one pole, women need to hold the other pole. We are needing to find sacred union within, because in that sacred union, we're able to surrender enough and have enough foresight and insight to know who the fuck we are. And we're returning back to this. That doesn't mean when you're with a partner, you then don't have your roles.
Yeah.
But for your own self-healing is to know that you are all of it.
Yeah.
Creation is not masculine, feminine. I don't even want to even go down that.
No,
No, let's.
Well,
I'm so sick of all of that.
yeah. Well,
you know?
I mean, we were having that conversation before, and it's also like what we only know what we've been seen and taught, and yeah, fuck, this is a massive rabbit hole.
I'd love to just touch on that. I think it's only because it's been a hot topic for me recently. I went live on Instagram the other day, ended up speaking for about an hour and 20 minutes on that topic, and I went from speaking about masculinity, and because I had a fucking dialogue with AI. I said, I seen this prompt on Instagram, so I used it but referred it to masculinity, and I said, if you were the devil, what would you do to keep men stuck living below potential and living in mediocrity? And all I did was put in a few prompts, and I had this massive dialogue, and fuck, I was blown away with it. And when I was reading it, I was like, I've got to share this. And I started my live with, you're going to be one of three people, right? One is you're interested and curious about this, but you're probably not going to go any deeper, and you're probably not going to research anymore or listen, and you're just going to keep living your life, and that's okay. Two, you already know this information, which is probably like us, and it's more of a positive reinforcement and affirmation for you. You still might learn something. Three, this is completely brand new to you, and some of it might be uncomfortable, or some of it might be motivating. And it was like, yeah, just because masculine men are a threat to the system, and it just had this massive, and it said propagating masculinity, creating stereotypes on how men should behave. And fuck, it was massive. And I got fired up, and I was like, I've got to share this. I've got to share this. Yeah. And I went from that to a complete 180 to, does masculinity even exist? Because I was like, fuck, we're like, oh, you're too masculine. You've got to integrate your feminine. Oh, that's too feminine. You've got to be a bit more masculine. Oh, no. It's like, fucking hell. When really, is it not just expressing ourselves as human, as 100%. An extension of God? And I'd love to get Adam on this as well, because he sent me a voice note, and is just the way Adam articulates and reflects back to me is great. But to finish this bit off, I was like, yeah, it's like, well, I typed in Google as well. Does it even mention masculinity in the Bible? And it said it doesn't directly mention masculinity. It says, traits and virtues like strength, courage. I said, does the Bhagavad Gita mention masculinity? It said not directly, no. I was like, well, and these traits as well that are associated with traditional masculinity, like protection, strength, biology, courage.
Yep.
And my mate back in the UK was watching my video, and he said, his partner said to him, he said, oh, she goes, because I used the analogy of Braveheart, William Wallace, when he's like fighting for freedom, and he said she goes, if I was in a position where I had to fight for my life and fight for my family and put my life at risk, I would. It's like she's not a man. I'm like, I don't think there's anything more protective than have you seen a lioness protecting her cubs?
Yeah.
Where it's like we're like, oh, masculine is this, feminine is this, and I just think I'm not saying that it's not important or that it doesn't exist, but what I am saying and where I'm at now is I just think it's creating further segregation and separation and division by putting ourselves into these buckets and categories.
Couldn't agree more. Everything you said, that 100%. I had exactly the same revelation of, I don't think it exists, actually. I think these are just traits of a human being. What has been going on? Like, because I've dove in deep into all aspects of polarity and everything like that. It's never sat right. And when like you say, a woman that is protecting her child will be as vicious, maybe even more than a man. It is just human qualities, and a lot of the things that we put onto being masculine is biologically driven. And we are way beyond biology. Biology is an important part of life, but we have spirit and we have soul and we have our own emotions and everything that goes on within us. And it's very interesting what's happening in the world right now, even especially around the demonization of masculinity. There's a lot of it's a nuanced topic, but I also think this is going back to this whole kind of like the tree of good and evil again. It's like we are, in a spiritual sense, as we have evolved from mineral all the way through billions of years to who we are today, is polarity was an imperative part of creation to get us to where we are now. But for us to evolve and for us to, I don't want to say that word, for us to evolve to where we need to go, it transcends polarity even. Polarity existed in a dimension that is an old paradigm for me, actually. I've found, even in the Hermeticism and in the mystical traditions, it is all about raising and taking a seat above the pendulum, allowing that pendulum to swing, but to have it not, and not be a factor that rules the life or biology. So
I think the only polarity worth mentioning is male, female. You look at the yin yang sign, it's black, white, both contained in a circle. But like you said, many nuances and demonizing men and the patriarchy and toxic masculinity and all of that. And it can be quite a triggering topic for some people as well.
I think as well, Cal, and that was a great conversation that we had on this. And again, in pure synchronicity of what we've all been saying, we're all of it. And I think the problem sometimes within the nature of humanity is we speak in absolute terms, all or nothing, masculine, feminine, good, bad, black, white. It's like, no, we've got a scale here. And for me, I think, again, making the complex simple and the simple compelling, looking at these words, for me, they're just purely syntax. Masculinity is a word, femininity is a word. We get obsessed with labeling as a society, but having distinctions and adjectives and describing words are good. We need them, or else we're just floating around, right?
True.
So, and you touched on biology before. So the word masculinity, the word femininity, I think we've got so obsessed as a society of psychoanalyzing what that means. Now, looking at the biology, and I was explaining this to Cal, naturally men are more physically a prowess compared to a woman, right? So there are elements, especially when our ancestral heritage, hunting and gathering, we're going out there, we're providing, we're protecting. And there's an element now I think that's very important that we do. But, and we use the example perfectly, if a woman's in a situation where they need to tap into their, and for better use of a word, we'll use that syntax, masculinity, they're gonna fucking do it. Right? It's not an all or nothing thing. There's gray area in it. So we have to understand, I think, as a society to zoom out, as you said, and think, okay, men are more physical than women. Women by nature are probably more nurturing and emotional.
Yeah.
But that's not all we are. I put my hand up right now, as Cullam well knows, and say, Courtney, for a huge part of our relationship, shout out, babe, love you, has been the quote unquote masculine one, and I wear my heart on my sleeve and I'm extremely emotional.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes these
owning that.
Wear all of it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, by nature, biologically, yes, we have more natural tendencies to lean into things, but we are all of it. And there's a huge freedom. When you were saying, Dave, before, of like, I forget the exact question that you asked, but you were talking about what's the power of acknowledging that you're all of it. There's a huge freedom that comes with it.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm angry now, and before you could be in a spiritual circle. It's like, no, don't do that. Yeah. Someone's up on their pedestal saying that's bad. Now you can accept there's times I'm fucking mad.
Yeah.
Right? And it's okay for me to be mad.
First crying for the first time a lot and allowing sadness.
That's not masculine.
Yeah. but the feel.
Get up.
Yeah. Like wrong podcast. But yeah, but there is freedom in accepting. Fuck, this is like, well, it's okay.
A weight off your shoulder.
Oh, sure, man.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like surrendering to the point of if we're talking about in relationships or even in conversations like this, or allowing people to surrender in the fact that it's like, that's your strength.
Yeah.
That's, so that can be your responsibility and we're all okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you bring to the relationship. That's, and it's fine. It doesn't make you any greater or worse. And we just accept the fact that if we need this, we go to that person. And
I actually believe that it is in a relationship. I think this has what has fueled the distortion around polarity and the masculine, feminine. I think unhealed, unintegrated people, when they come together, is going to need the other person to be a certain way for them to feel safe. And in that, it's bred men feeling emasculated because they're not man enough, because somebody needed them to step up and be a man, because they weren't integrated enough to hold themselves in a certain situation, and vice versa. Men needing a woman to be more feminine so that they can feel safe about themselves. Yeah. And so that has bred a huge divide between men and women. And in relationships, it's been like, well, because of the laws of polarity, to stay at one end of the pole is the only way that these people can have a safe relationship, because they're not willing to integrate the other part of themselves.
Which is doomed from the beginning.
And
this is why that pulls relationships apart.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why you get all these red pill circles of these men that are just like, they're just so far off.
Yeah.
Because they won't even go there to even allow themselves to integrate their own nurturing side.
That's where we need that balance, because on the other side of that, you have people that have, we need to create a new word for it, but zero masculine traits.
Sure.
Because they're way too on that, on the perhaps feminine side.
What, too much emotion, you mean?
Too much emotion, not getting their body physically right, not able to protect if their loved ones were in danger, watching too much porn, that's the whole sitting in mum's basement, beta male. I'm stereotyping here.
Yeah.
But you've got both ends of the spectrum, right? And this is where this whole conversation of where all of it is so powerful, because this exists outside of masculine and feminine. It exists in politics. There's no nuance anymore. You're right, you're left. You're conservative, you're Democrat. Well, hang on a second. There's nuance within all of these things.
Yeah.
I actually think that emotion is human.
Of course.
I don't think it is specifically masculine or feminine. And I think a man that is overly emotional is a man that's dealing with trauma from the past that is, he doesn't know how to resolve. And then on top of that, being told that he's too emotional and a fucking pussy is going to just compound on top of him that he's too feminine. But he's not. He's traumatized and wounded and needs to learn how to be able to integrate himself back into wholeness instead of projecting it outwards.
Where's a good starting place for that, man?
To begin to integrate your trauma. To reflect and be honest with yourself as to what in life has caused you pain. Where am I hurting? And for some people, the pain and hurt has been so vast that they don't know. They've forgot or they've shut it out. And so we need to find tools or people that can help us show us those blind spots. Whether that's in breathwork, therapy, medicine, whatever that is. But then when you are shown, the work has to then come from within.
Integrate it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, interestingly, years of being obsessed with psychedelics, string theory and quantum physics. And I mean, I felt like you were speaking to me there because I was that man, overly emotional, very what society would call feminine, hard on his sleeve, bawling my eyes out every breathwork session, connecting to that so deeply to that little boy, right? So deeply that I become him rather than being the strong role model saying, hey, you've got this. And in answer to your question, Dave, and I'm only speaking on behalf of myself here, what actually helped me heal those parts of me wasn't the breath work, the plant medicine, the ceremony. Not that that didn't help. It was needed. But what did for me, the tipping point was like those things got me to the volcano doing hard physical shit. Starting to exercise, feeling in my body again, things like Ignite.
I've got to send you the video that I've got of his first ice bath. I've got to send it to you.
We'll put it on there. It's crazy you talk like that because I'm completely the opposite. Mine's been physical and fucking destructive, and for me to sit still and find that feminine part of me, to have a cry, to go within, to sit still, to do breath work, to go to sound healing. I mean, we had the conversation when I first met Luke, you know, I was like, I can remember when I sat around the room, it was like, man, it's all females here. Well, predominantly. And, you know, and it's just like, because that was like, you know, I'm not saying sound healing's a feminine thing, but like it's you know, I mean, you wouldn't see a masculine man like fucking come in with his yoga mat and, yeah, I mean, you do now because it's becoming more known, but, you know, I was completely the opposite.
And the reason you are, Dave, is because all of the shit that I needed to find, you were already naturally good at. So you needed to come into the uncomfortable to find that solitude. For me, all of the stuff that you're now finding was not easy for me, but it was like, it was good. It enabled me to tap into that little boy. It felt comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Then old mate enters my life here and he's like, let's go do hard physical shit. Oh my God. Now I'm scared. Now that's the work for me.
Which is the balancing.
Balance,
It's coming into balance because I lend more towards overly emotional.
Same as me.
Overly emotional, and I need to do hard shit to come into balance, to be able to regulate myself so that I knew I was capable. I had a capacity to do hard shit. And I came into that, oh yeah, I'm capable. And I still am able to connect deeply. I'm still deeply emotional. If I see something that touches me, might shed a tear, I don't give a shit. Like I'm all of it. And for you, it's finding that balance because for me, it's easy to get emotional. I actually even was just like, I actually pride myself on being able to connect and be emotional because I'm so comfortable there. And same for you with the hard yakka, bro. You're all about that. But I was using the emotional to avoid doing the real work of the integration of that hard shit.
Same.
You're using the hard shit to avoid the integration of the emotional work.
Even when I've been starting to cry lately, like I still can sometimes walk away and I've got that old programming going. Toughen up. Like, like fucking,
And you know what? That's all right, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay. And at least you're crying.
I guess I guess to sort of sum up this topic is like sitting still with that and feel that uncomfortableness, get out of your head, sit still, do nothing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm talking like how I'm sort of thinking it. And whatever that uncomfortable thing is coming up, that's the door you got to go through.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we have a narrative, know that it's the narrative that's the enemy. Because organically and naturally, if we see something emotional, take the narrative away, we might get emotional and cry. When we're doing something physical, we can do it and take the narrative away. It's the story that we put over it. That's the enemy. So it's sitting with whatever is happening in the moment and seeing the narrative for what it is. It's just a fucking narrative and it's not true. That's like getting out of the head. Just means stop listening to the story that we create around things and just be in the body.
Not stop listening to it. Accept it. Listen to
Observe
it.
it.
Don't
Observe
identify,
it.
identify as it.
Because I feel
Observe
like
it.
when I suppress it, it comes back louder.
Just watch it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you're saying, oh, you shouldn't cry, but you identify with that as to like, okay, I need to stop crying. It's like when it comes, you need to stop crying. You're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I can see where that.
There you are.
And you're just observing, oh, I'm emotional. Oh, that said that. And you just become this watcher of life unfolding in front of you. And you're like,
It literally happened at the boxing gym last week. I tell myself a story, physical stuff's hard, I'm uncoordinated. Ben's showing me, I'm like, fuck, I thought boxing was just hitting shit. And he's like, you got to put your left shoulder back and do it. And I'm like, all of this insecurity of my little boy is like, I can't do this. I'm not man enough for it.
See, mine's opposite.
Of course it's going to be because all the boxing's easy for you.
I sit in bed and go.
Probably grew up in street bars.
Like to sit in bed is hard.
yeah,
Like fucking, it's okay. Have a day off. You don't need to do anything today, bro.
yeah.
Then you feel guilty.
And then I'm like, I start feeling guilty. I'm like, no, fuck off, man. I've got to get the fuck out of bed and, yeah. So yeah, man. So
Of course it's got to be the opposite because like Luke said, we're very similar journeys here.
Yeah.
But I haven't really heard anyone say it from that side of things. I thought it was always this way. So it's beautiful that you guys.
Do you mean from a man's perspective?
Well, yeah, man. Well,
We're not met, bro.
But that again perpetuates what we're talking about before.
yeah.
And unfortunately, again, I'm
it's the
generalizing
same
here.
shit.
A lot of men, and Luke and I are probably anomalies in this, that like a lot of, not trying to put ourselves on a pedestal here, but a lot of people that come into, I guess, spiritual work that I've seen do fit that criteria that you're coming in. It's like that uber masculine sort of getting into a workout's not a problem, but tapping into that emotion, that vulnerability is hard. And it's almost like that's A to Z. We're from Z to A.
Yeah.
For me, it was like never fearful with plant medicine or any type of modality. I felt safe. I felt at home. It was natural. But stepping
It was
into,
yummy.
Yeah.
yeah, we're with me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Don't ever say that again.
Ah, shit. So yeah, it's probably not as common. But I think, what we said is it's finding what that is that's going to be hard and challenging and discomfort and do that. And that's going to help you heal. So
we've talked about where you've come from Z to A and me A to Z. Is there another direction? Is there ever I'm just fucking banging Alamino P in the middle?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Like people that just have it figured out.
Well,
this is what life is.
Like, is there
Curiosity is good.
Yeah.
I think just follow curiosity.
Yeah.
I don't think. Was your question? Because his journey is one way and yours is another way. Are you saying is there any
other way?
I think it's somewhere along the spectrum.
Yeah.
I think there's this end and this end, and you're starting wherever.
Yeah.
But I actually am becoming to realize that I thought the goal was I need to be at A. I need to be a fucking man. Because if I'm not at A, I'm not going to attract Z. And that's what every man fucking wants. But it's in the middle that we become fully integrated and expressed. And when you meet being an A, being in the middle, when you meet a Z that's in the middle and has done that as well, that's it.
And then, Dave, you don't demonize yourself. I did a D-Martini program. Shout out Mitch Vickridge for that. And there was things that I'd been told, you brought on this, that were weaknesses. Oh, you're too emotional, Adam. You talk too much. All of these things. But then this whole concept in that work is understanding that these things aren't good or bad. They're good and bad. You're all of it. And where are the times in my life where, we talked about this with alcohol before, where am I using these traits as escapism? And that's something I can work on. But also these traits are my fucking superpowers.
100%.
My emotional vulnerability and tapping into that side of me has opened my heart. It's helped me build connections. It's helped me get every job that I've had or every industry I've been in. So it's not for you thinking, because yes, you're tapping more into these softer arts now, but that grit that's so natural to you, that's fucking important too, bro.
Yeah. And it's not until you love that about yourself, you know,
Yes.
like a lot of the time, like with anger and aggression, like you suppress it. Fuck, I shouldn't be doing that. But it's like, no, man, like love that about it. As long as it's being, you learn to conduct it in good manner and good ways, and when it's needed, like you said before. And it's loving it, man. Like loving that part of you. You know, I had, speaking about Mitch, his partner Jade, I Am Woman. Well, I had them on here. It was actually the last podcast I'd done.
Cal's fiance did the I Am Woman.
Oh, true. Yeah. So they, man, it's a small world, eh? I went and saw them at the Fringe Festival. But anyway, like, so we got them on here, and I was thinking, I was going to, because there was 3 of them as well, and I had met them. I literally reached out to them after seeing their Fringe Festival.
We were there too. Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, fucking wicked, man. And I was like, fuck, I need to get them onto the podcast, because this is predominantly male focus, or naturally leads down that path. Not that I intend to have it that way, but I was like, it'd be good to have some women on it, you know, and talk about what they're doing.
Part of your integration process.
Yeah, exactly.
The irony.
Fuck wood. But where was I going with that? You know, I mean, one of the first things they said, like at first I was thinking, like, fuck, they were going to be like pro-woman and, you know, feminine, you know, rights and stuff like that. But it was, you know, because, I didn't know. I didn't really do much research on them either. But, you know, I mean, one of the first things they sort of mentioned was like, man, we need you men as men. Like, because they want to accept you for who you are, because it makes them be able to be themselves more, you know, and vice versa. You know, the more we're relaxing into each other, rather than sort of have these, you know, what were we calling before, like pillars, like you're this and you're that. That's doing the complete opposite. But the point I'm trying to get here is that I think it was Jade, and she started talking about like calling herself a whore and like being hot, but they had a different meaning and a sad thing to them. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, if I ever called any chick, well, I've been brought up a whore out of all words, you know, I'd like, fuckers, you know, I've done a lot of dumb shit, but there's probably one thing I really need to do, you know. And but then when she expressed what she actually meant by it,
The sacred archetype. It's like a sacred whore archetype.
And it's obviously, like, I know some of my "Are you okay" speeches, I always swear in them, and it's like, it's you're choosing to be offended by me saying the word fuck. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people can go, oh my God, but, or you could look at it like, I'm empowering what I'm trying to say, or getting this message across to you, like suicide is fucking real, or this podcast is fucking real. You can look at it as like, fuck, that's empowering, or, you know, but it's the context you use it in. And then it was sort of saying the same with whore, you know, I mean, we've just looked at whore like being a fucking, a word
Derogatory term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to hear that sort of
It's like I said earlier, it's syntax, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's all of it. There are times where if you're in a relationship and someone's cheating and you're in a monogamous relationship and that's whore-like, well, that's the negative connotation. Courtney, block your ears. But then there's times if I'm making love with my woman, I want to embody that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But these words, again, we get associated with these words. So you've heard the word, associated something with it. Jade's explained it. And you're like, oh, that's not the meaning that I had in my mind.
And that sort of goes back to what
The
you're
judgment.
saying, like labeling things.
Of course.
Yeah, the judgment around it and the story you're telling yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just this beautiful school where we're learning to be all of it and then creating the skill to be able to be what is needed in each moment. Because there are times when we need to be certain things and where our partners need to be certain things. And we have to have the skill and the capacity to realize that what's needed in what moment.
And I think that's what we're sort of really coming to the conclusion here is like having these group discussions face to face to be in a safe place to be able to talk about the word whore and hear other people's point of views on it, or talk about masculinity or fucking sex or drugs or like some of these things that we and to get everyone's views on them rather than sort of label them yourself and
Yeah, I mean, look at the world, man. We're living in a world which is doing that. If you look at it, it all is all mushing into the middle, so to speak. But the shadow aspect is being played out a lot. We see people grasping onto the poles, and we see people that aren't prepared or willing to integrate certain parts of themselves, and it's causing conflict in relationship. It's causing conflict between men and women. It's causing conflict in the mind as to, well, if I'm born in a male body, does that mean that I'm a man, but I feel like a woman and there's no space in society for me to be this, and maybe I need to change my body into a woman or whatever it is? It's because there's judgment. And when there's no judgment and you can just show up as you are and there is a space for your unique expression, you don't need to change anything about yourself.
Boom.
You don't need to change anything because you're perfect, whole, and complete. There are no mistakes. And if we allow and build a society that has full acceptance of all parts of everybody, people wouldn't feel the need to change themselves.
Bang.
love.
Yeah,
Not one thing I've disagreed with this whole podcast.
This is such an important topic. I mean, I allowed myself to get consumed with what's going on in Gaza at the moment, and then there's rallies in Stockholm and riots in LA, and I'm like, I was overconsumed by it, and I'm like, fucking hell. And
You were.
yeah, I was.
I do, man. Especially like the whole Trump thing and
Yeah. But I think in order to get to harmony and health and wholeness in relationship, whether intimately or globally, is can we find compatibility in our differences?
Yeah.
But what we're seeing is, I think this, I believe this, I believe this, and I think this. And then it's like we're playing a game of one up, and we actually see wars in the world because of it. It's like, oh, fuck, and power and greed. But can we get to a place of compatibility within our differences and not have to be right and find harmony in that?
Yeah.
And a lot of time it's that absolute, right? Like you see it at the moment, Palestine good, Israel bad. I've had neighbors when I lived on Rendition Street, on the left-hand side, Palestinian, on the right-hand side, Jews, best friends. It's not as simple or as easy to say good, bad, right? There's nuance in it. And a lot of these wars, unfortunately, not that we're going to open up a whole nother can of worms here, it's a couple of dickhead dictators on either side that are the bad guys and the enemies, and the innocent civilians on both sides are getting absolutely fucked. And that's what breaks my heart.
the divide.
100%.
Yeah.
And the Jewish person can't walk down the street at the moment without someone hurling insults at them. No different to the indigenous white man conversation.
Yeah.
All of these things, right? The division.
Part 3. Luke and I are also going to be doing a podcast like next week, I think, and we're I think I told you, like, Luke's going to get more involved with the Fucking Real podcast, and it's these sort of topics we really do want to start honing in on, because I feel like we are now at a stage where we are awakening, and it's these conversations we need to be making normal, or even not even so much normal, but more for someone like me.
Well, it should be normal though, Dave.
Well, definitely normal. But I guess what I'm trying to say is making it more like putting the knowledge out there, man. You don't know until you know, until you listen to a podcast like this and go, what the fuck were they talking about with masculinity? And it opens up your mind to go, oh shit, there's a different way of looking at it. You can go from Z to A to Z, and just really opening that mind up through conversations like this. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then making it the norm as well, because
I think nothing should ever be off the table. Like things should be able to be discussed and interpreted, and shared. Our views should be shared and accepted. And it's like, even if we disagree, it's okay. Like, we our own personal reality. That's what a personality is. It's your personal reality, and what your truth is true for you. But that doesn't mean that your truth has to be the same as mine. And like the flower of life, it's all of these Vesica Pisces, these circles that come together and find that commonality between the two. They can share completely different realities, but it's in that Vesica Pisces where we find commonality and peace. And that is for everybody throughout the world. Everybody deserves it.
I wanted to just pull you up on when you said normal, is because I think, like what you said, there's a lot of fear. There's a hum of fear in the sort of collective, isn't there? Like, people don't want to speak up because if they speak up, they might say the wrong thing, and then they're afraid of being judged or ridiculed for saying what. So then I'm not going to say anything. Then it's like Jamie Duff has started sharing things on social media, just starting discussions, and the onslaught on there of people like disagreeing, and it's like, I've got my truth, you've got your truth. Can we find some sort of common ground? And I got asked recently, actually, at the camp out, I was having a similar discussion, and I got asked, do you believe that there's an absolute truth to things? And I just paused and I thought about it. And we was walking in nature, and I said, well, yes and no. And I said, I pointed at a tree. I said, an absolute truth would be, this is a tree. Like, I'm sure we can all agree that this is a tree. Like, that would be an absolute truth. But I don't know, I think it's nuances, isn't it? Because, I mean, what we see is people fighting over their own truth and trying
You got an interesting answer and response, didn't you?
try to protect their own truth,
Yeah.
But I do believe that we should absolutely question things.
One thing I teach my kids, man, I teach them to understand. So you can hear one man's or one female's point of view. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you can certainly understand them. Because you might learn something in that. You might change your thought pattern if you actually listen and understand, And I think that's what it is. And then let's say you had your opinion. I should listen and understand and try to really understand where you come from. Doesn't mean I've got to agree with you, but I can sit here and go, okay, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, and just listen.
And also be open to the idea of being taught something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what becomes the truth, and I mean, in perfect harmony, that's how it would.
So like so say you've got your opinion, I've got my opinion. Yeah. Let's say there's a drone floating up here, that can see both opinions. It's like, oh, well, actually, it's this one.
Well, Luke might step in and go, mate, you just see the light flashing in the sky, man. But it's just one thing I try and teach them, because a lot of people just get stuck in their own ways and their belief systems and things as well.
Yeah.
Or when we talk about knowledge, it's the only thing that they've been taught or seen.
Sounds like you're doing a good job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I believe
Definitely.
I am too. Yeah. Well, I'm going to wind it up there, boys.
Sounds good. I think that was
Is there going to be a
beautiful
part 3
conversation.
soon, though?
Wow. I feel like we got into a bit of a flow state there. It's just
It's hard to...
I could keep going for another 2 hours. But
Yeah, like we done.
Yeah. Well, I normally cut it off at about 120, 140. What are we sitting at?
I don't know.
I've forgotten about my... Callum's right. I've completely been in a slipstream here.
Well, the biggest thing... I could just leave you guys here if you want, man. I just when we spoke about Vic Park Hotel, I was like, palm me in a pint. But the thing I do like about cutting these conversations off, because it happens every time. Like, obviously, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But it has to be cut off somewhere. But it does also leave the door open to be doing a part 3.
you're doing an open loop.
Yeah.
An open loop.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit more frequently than what it was last time, because I love these conversations, and I do feel like we're getting deep and getting the flow happening, and maybe being a little bit more specific in terms of what we want to talk about next time might be having one or maybe 2 topics, maybe some of these rabbit holes to go down and to hear different perspectives and try and understand other points of views.
Absolutely. I think something cool, useful, I think, would be, because we've already touched on it, and I think just to reiterate for anyone listening, when you said like where would be a good first start or something, or like how do they find the union within, or how do they begin healing? Because I don't think there's one size fits all. You know, it could be sound medicine, could be doing hard shit. You know, so I think maybe just reiterating, like, for anyone listening to start, how to start. I think I would say is just curiosity, and like what's helped me is curiosity and solitude, spending time with myself, knowing myself. Like, why am I getting triggered? I think if we ask why enough times, we'll get to the truth.
Yeah.
You know, well, why am I doing that? Yeah, but why? You know? And start looking at our own behavior. And
how good is it when the trigger doesn't become a trigger anymore?
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, I know we're diving back in and you said wrap it up.
No.
But like,
I don't mean like right now, but yeah.
Because there have been times, like, I'll admit, even recent times where like I'll be triggered by a human being I haven't even met. I'll be watching some random person. I'm like, I don't like you. And I'm like, why? What the fuck is this person triggering me, right? But they are, for whatever reason, because of my belief system, values, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Podcast.
Yeah. Shut up, Dave. Going back in. And then to be able to reflect back and be like, not that everything has to be a mirror. Like, sometimes people are just dicks and you're allowed to not like them. But in this particular circumstance, I was like, no, hang on. Cleared it. Now I see this person and it's nothing. They can go about their day or do their stuff on the internet, and I'm complete that feeling of knowing the trigger is no longer a trigger.
Yeah.
Epic.
100%. I think we all touched on something as well, sorry. But
when I said, we've only got 24 hours left on this.
We're doing a 25-hour read.
This is round 3.
I guess
actually, we should do a 25-hour podcast.
I would be keen, man.
Oh, same.
We might need some medicine for that.
Oh, shit.
Round 3, part 3.
Because it feels like we're going around and sharing what could help the listener.
For sure. This is what it's all about, man, for sure.
So we've all done some great things purely from the willingness to lean into discomfort, to have something present itself that is scary, foreign, not something that we're not used to, that has injected fear into us. And yet we've had the courage to lean into it. And even if it's just leaning into it a little bit, I would not be the person I am today if I hadn't done that repeatedly over the next 10 years. And if somebody wants to start somewhere, it's like, just have courage to explore the discomfort, because it will always lead you to somewhere fucking phenomenal.
Like the ice bath video.
Yeah.
Boom.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go to therapy.
Yeah.
Because that's really helped.
So with the starting line, by the way, with the starting line, I was speaking to Jake, Steve and Graydon on here, and they were talking about their ultra marathon. And we just keep talking.
Don't rope me into that one, bro, please. Fuck.
And we just keep talking about just getting to the starting line. If you want to lose weight, just open that door up at the gym and just go in there and start. Get to the starting line. The breath work, whatever, sound healing. And we keep talking about the starting line. And at the end of it, I've actually got the podcast. It's recorded and it's on YouTube. And in it, I've gone, man, like, we should get a charity called the Starting Line. And we've gone, fuck yeah. And that's where it originated from. I actually went off and I've gone, I'm going to start this charity called the Starting Line and get people together and get people getting to the starting line. The point what I'm trying to make here is I feel like a 25-hour podcast is...
Can we do it?
We'll just take four of us.
I reckon we get a public place, like maybe Good Vibes Boxing Gym. We set up a podcast
for 25 hours, and then we just have people joining us and like donating and stuff.
In our budgies.
We're raising money. We could even put it live stream on.
So to me,
they could give us topics.
That'd be easy.
They could give us topics as well.
Yeah.
Like, so if they're listening again, they'd be like, ask us questions.
Oh, shit.
And
I
it's
would
live,
be
it's
keen
live
as.
on socials, live on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're raising money. We've got a live grassroots.
Yeah.
We'll bring
donation
guests
thing
on, but the 4 of us are non-negotiables.
Yeah,
We're going to
that'd
do
be
the
dope.
full 25 hours.
I would
Right,
be keen.
so if I promise to do that, can we wind up this one? I'm fucking starving, man.
Yeah. He needs his palmy and his palm.
All right, this year,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm keen. Just whenever you let me know.
Cullam's instilled there's no time to strike while the iron's hot than now. Let's not just this year. Let's
call it.
Let's
do
just
it in
keep going on this one.
Let's do it, Dave, in like the next couple of months.
Yeah. I'm keen.
Soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. We'll leave that to you.
Yeah. All right,
No,
man.
I'm joking.
Yeah, man, I love roping people on this.
Yeah.
It's going live, man.
And you guys are doing the Budgy run,
Yeah.
the half marathon next year in Budgies.
Half marathon. I've not ran more than
I've never done a marathon,
End
but
of the
I'm
road.
down.
Half.
Yeah. Half, yeah. Nah, full.
You got to do a half first anyway.
This is all getting recorded, by the way, as they like.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
What do they say when you're getting arrested? You know, like don't say anything because it can be used against you in the court of law.
Yeah.
And this is the court of law. All right, boys. Well, thanks for coming on. Fucking real. Thanks for bringing the energy back into the studio.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
I feel alive. I feel really grateful for having you guys here. Yeah, till this 24-hour podcasting event, we're going to raise some money, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Until next time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Howdy.